Mexico City, a bustling metropolis filled with life, culture, and history. But even in its heart, darkness can thrive. This is the chilling tale of Juana Barraza, a wrestler turned serial killer, known as La Mataviejitas, the little old lady killer. A story that unveils the darkest corners of the human psyche. How does a woman celebrated in the wrestling ring transform into one of Mexico's most notorious serial killers? Join us as we delve into her life, her crimes, and the shockwaves they sent through society. Juana Barraza's childhood and upbringing were marked by severe trauma and hardship, which profoundly influenced her later actions. Born in Hidalgo, Mexico, in 1957, she grew up in a rural area plagued by poverty. Her mother, Justice Samperio, was an alcoholic who subjected Juana to one of the most devastating betrayals. She traded 13-year-old Juana to a man for 3 beers. This man repeatedly R-worded her, and she became pregnant as a result. This betrayal by her mother left deep emotional scars and a lingering resentment that would later manifest in her crimes. Barraza's early life was unstable and filled with abuse. She had 4 children, but tragedy struck when her eldest son died from injuries sustained in a mugging. Despite these challenges, she found a semblance of escape in professional wrestling, adopting the persona La Dama del Silencio, the Silent Lady. Wrestling became a way for her to channel her frustrations and find a sense of identity. However, after sustaining severe back injuries, she had to leave wrestling, which seemed to channel her anger into a darker path. In 1998, a sinister pattern began to emerge in Mexico City. Elderly women living alone were being found strangled to death. The perpetrator was gaining their trust by posing as a nurse or a government worker, only to betray them in the most brutal way. Initially, the police were skeptical about the idea of a serial killer targeting elderly women in Mexico City. They dismissed the murders as unrelated incidents, attributing them to media sensationalism. However, as the killings continued, patterns began to emerge. The victims were all elderly women, often living alone, and the method of murder was consistent: strangulation using items like stockings, stethoscope, or telephone cords. Witnesses described the suspect as having masculine features, which led the police to mistakenly focus on transvestite prostitutes in their investigation. This misstep delayed the identification of Juana as the perpetrator. Despite circulating a composite sketch and even having Juana appear on television during wrestling matches, the connection wasn't made until her arrest in 2006. Juana Barraza was arrested on January 25, 2006, after killing her last victim, Ana Maria de los Reyes Alfaro, an 84-year-old woman. Barraza had strangled and stabbed Alfaro in her home. As she tried to flee, a neighbor spotted her leaving the scene and alerted nearby police officers. Despite her attempts to escape, Barraza was apprehended by the authorities. At the time of her arrest, she was carrying a list of elderly women's names and addresses, a stethoscope, and a fake social worker ID. During her trial in 2008, Juana confessed to killing Alfaro, but her fingerprints linked her to 16 other murders, with authorities suspecting her involvement in up to 48 cases. She was sentenced to 759 years in prison. Her resentment towards her mother is believed to have fueled her later crimes. Juana targeted elderly women, whom she may have associated with her mother, often posing as a nurse or social worker to gain their trust and access to their homes. Once inside, she would strangle them using items like stockings, telephone cords, or anything available nearby. She would then ransack their homes, taking sentimental items like crucifixes or saint images, while leaving behind more valuable possessions. This pattern of violence and theft continued until her arrest in 2006. Barraza's story is a chilling example of how a traumatic upbringing can shape a person's path in life. It's a tragic tale of pain, survival, and the devastating consequences of unresolved trauma. Juana Barraza's tale is not just about crime. It's a reflection of the darkness that can arise from pain, neglect, and societal indifference. Her actions shocked a nation and left an indelible mark on its history. But her story also serves as a reminder of the importance of compassion and vigilance toward the vulnerable. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more true crime stories.